Hi everyone. I wanted to go over the genre tree assignment that I had each of my sections do and let you know how that's going to relate to what we're doing in this class. I asked you each to put in some type of art, something that humans create under each of these categories. And so then I asked you to describe them. I've gone through some of your descriptions and tried to highlight what the actual rhetorical tools are that are required for each genre that you put in. I wanted to do this to emphasize what a rhetorical tool is. So, for instance, let's take a look at some of these things that you put in. Somebody put in fiction sci-fi, and the ingredients for a fiction writer are that the story has to have characters, a conflict, a plot, climax. And then they went in to say how what sets it apart from other fiction is the scientific inventions. So those are the ingredients or the rhetorical tools a fiction sci-fi writer has to use. In a nonfiction biography, the rhetorical tool is to describe the life of someone else in a way that makes it interesting. And some of those ways might be to use telling detailed descriptions of that person's life. Fairy tales have to include magic and imagery. Horror has to frighten and scare. How does a writer create fear in their writing? Maybe they hint at things that are going to happen that are frightening to create suspense. They can maybe use metaphors to create relevance and eerie and frightening atmosphere. These are some of the tools or rhetorical tools that a writer of horror might use. Let's skip down to some music. Somebody talked about blues and mentioned that it has to be slow or mid-tempo ballads. So a slower beat is a rhetorical tool that makes blues a blues song. Um, that there are lyrics and not just instrumentals. So lyrics is another rhetorical tool that a blues singer or musician might use. Heavy metal is a stronger, more violent beat. That is a rhetorical tool that heavy metal uses. Let's go to some of the other ones. I want to skip to my section 2.9 and notice that somebody added sports as one of the subgenres. And this is really interesting because even though sports are sort of performance, I don't think we usually consider them as an art form, a rhetorical, something that requires rhetorical tools, tools used to persuade the viewer. I suppose you could say that a good baseball player might have some swag as they swing the bat, but it's really more based on skills in accomplishing a physical feat rather than persuading the audience of what you're trying to explain to them. So let's look at some of the other ones here. What are some of the rhetorical tools that pop music requires? Good rhythm, a catchy melody, easy to follow and sing along to. Those are all rhetorical tools for pop music. Um, Drawing includes you have to have some sort of scale and volume. You have to create three-dimensional shapes for a picture to become realistic. Those are rhetorical tools of drawing. What else do we have? Dance, moving rhythmically. That's a rhetorical tool that you would use with your body to try to convey some sort of message to your audience. So how does this fit into what we're doing? Well, if we look under writing, in this class we're going to be writing the North American academic essay, along with some other genres as pre-writing activities, but mainly we're going to be doing this. So I wanted to turn your attention to Al Purdue, which is our main reference guide we're using for this class. And I'm going to go into Al Purdue Writing Lab. And I'm going to do a basic search for the North American academic essay. And you can actually just search in Google if you want to do that, American academic essay in Al Purdue. And it'll give you that page straight away instead of searching for it in the Al Purdue site. But tells you what some of the rhetorical tools are that you need to have or use in your writing of your final research paper for this class, which really is an academic essay. So notice that it has to have a thesis. That means a central idea that you usually put at the top in your introduction. It needs to have paragraphs that summarize main points. It has to have a conclusion. Your thesis should be your personal opinion about the topic. So you're going to see that what we're learning here is the genre of the North American academic essay. It's a really, really specific genre that is born out of nonfiction, essay, and then finally the North American academic essay. So we have to learn the constraints or the rhetorical tools that academic writers use as they create essays to persuade people of an opinion that they have on a topic that they're writing about. That's your thesis statement, your opinion about the topic. And you can see that in Al Purdue, it's giving you all of the sort of rhetorical tools, or not all, but some of them that you're going to need. What kind of tone? How do you create a sense of purpose? How do you set up your paper and design it? You have to consider your audience. Are they insiders? Are you aware of who they are? Um, and we're also going to talk and learn about paragraph structure, topic sentences, what kind of vocabulary is appropriate, which pronouns you should use. These are all the rhetorical tools of the academic essay that I want you to learn and that we're going to master so that you can be successful in writing the academic essay for this class and any other classes that you have. So I hope the Genretree experiment provides a little bit of clarity to you about what a rhetorical tool is. It's actually the ingredients that go into making an art form what it is, so that the listener who is expecting a certain type of sound or writing or ingredients gets those ingredients so that they understand that you are in that genre and it is being created successfully, and the listener or the viewer or the reader is convinced and even delighted by the creation that you've made.